Okay.
But what sucks is that I didn't even do the West. I did the East first.
I guess we're talking
Anyways,
about the East, Kyle.
what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Valley Boys show. Here we got our special guest, Edward, the Lakers fan. He's gonna join us here, and we're
What's
gonna
up, y'all?
talk. We're gonna talk Phoenix Suns basketball. We're gonna talk Lakers basketball. We're gonna talk Western Conference play-ins. And because everything's leading up to this final day on Sunday, so be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and let's get going.
Kevin Durant delivers. Gorgeous move from Bradley Beal.
Personally, I feel like that brother needed help.
Devin Booker with the clutch three.
All right, so the play, a lot of games tomorrow, a lot of important games, and so I think we're going to focus a little bit more on the Western Conference rather than the Eastern Conference. So what's so funny too is like once I went live, Ashton was like in the middle of talking about how he spent so much time building his own bracket, and then Edward and I were just kind of like, we're gonna wait to see what happens tomorrow, because honestly, I think we can all agree there's so many moving parts, right? Like I've never seen anything like it in the past couple of seasons.
Oh yeah, this year's just definitely super competitive, especially the West. But I mean, also the East. There's like a four-way tie between the fifth and eighth seed.
But I'll be real here, and this is probably all I'll say about the Eastern Conference. I'm looking at the matchups that could potentially be. None of them excite me. None of them remotely make me want to jump out of my seat and watch them. I don't want to watch the Bulls and the Hawks. Maybe the Sixers and the Heat actually might be a great series, and that's a play-in actually. So that's going to be a good one game. But like the Knicks and the Pacers, the Magic and the Cavs. Well, actually, I'll take that back. The Cavs and Magic could be sneaky if that ends up being the matchup, because I think the Magic are kind of your sneaky good team, and I don't think the Cavaliers are. They're inconsistent. But let's go ahead and jump to the Western Conference. Like I said, 1, 2, 3 seeds are up in the air. There's a three-way tie between the Thunder, the Nuggets, and the Timberwolves. A lot of that will be determined. The only thing that we do know, and I guess we could talk about this and jump into it, is that number 4 to number 5 matchup with the Clippers and the Mavericks. I know Ash and I talked about this the other night, but now that we know that is for sure the one matchup that we will see, I think that's going to be really good. I cannot wait to see that series. What do you guys think?
100%. That is my most anticipated matchup. I love Luka. I hate the Clippers. I can't wait to see. Okay. Being completely unbiased in my love of Luka, I know I told you it's a sweep. It's not a sweep. It's probably a 5 or 6 game series. It's definitely going to the Mavs though. I'd be very surprised if the Clippers actually pull this off. Not to say that the Clippers this year aren't good or great, but the Mavs are on a hot streak right now, and the Clippers are on a cold streak. Going right up to this point into the playoffs and the postseason, that's a really bad time to be going through something like this. So just by those two extremes, that's where I think that's what that difference is going to be, is that Mavs piping hot coming in, Luka piping hot. Like, it just seems like this MVP conversation kind of just came out of nowhere in the past couple of weeks, when really he has been having that kind of season all year. But all this kind of narrative is building up to this series, and I think Luka's going to come away with this one. Luka and Kyrie.
Ashton, what are your thoughts on that series?
Interesting.
He disagrees.
Those are all very fair points, but I just think the Clippers have so much, right? If
That's
they
true.
remain fully healthy, fully healthy, they have James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. I think they could just be a really lockdown defense here.
That's true. But on the other side of it, the Mavericks are one of the better defensive teams in the past month. But yeah, I think on paper, like if I look at both of these teams and we throw out the idea that the Clippers are injury prone, I think I like the Clippers better than the Mavericks. But I think that's
Yeah.
the problem with the series is like, and you could totally tell what they've been doing the past couple of weeks. They are totally managing their players. Like Kawhi, he's ready to go. But I think that speaks to the team that they have is like a lot of people don't talk about like Norman Powell. Like Norman Powell is such a good player that he can really get those points and really fill in for like when like James Harden's not there. I originally was like leaning towards 5 or 6, and this might actually go to 7. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 7 with the Clippers
awesome
and the
if it
Mavs.
did.
Yeah. Just because I could see both these teams like just being wildly inconsistent. It could be one of those things where like both teams are just winning at home and protecting home court, or they do the other weird thing where they just win on the road, both teams. So the Clippers take the first 2 in Dallas, and then the Mavs take the next 2 in LA. But just so you guys know, we will. So we're going to be talking about the play-in and all those things, what we think is going to happen, where these teams are going to end up. But we will reconvene on Monday after all is said and done, and we will deliver our playoff predictions. And Ashton can revise his and be ready with the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. But without further ado, let's talk about the Lakers. And feel free to tune out of this portion of the live show, being a Suns show. But Lakers fan,
I'm tuning out.
obviously a lot of history. Where do you feel? We want to know, where do you feel as a Lakers fan? I mean, you guys are 46-35, and by all like that's a pretty solid season. You know, if you think you're going to have 46 wins on a season, you take that over anything, obviously. I mean, where's your confidence level? Break down this Lakers team for us and what the implications of their matchup is against the New Orleans Pelicans.
So going into that game, here's the thing about being a Laker fan this season, especially, it's a coin toss. You go into a game, no matter who your opponent is, you got to flip a coin. You got to call it. And the reason why is because this team chooses when to be engaged in a game, when to approach a game like a professional athlete. And as judging by the record, it's a little bit over half the time they do that, but not by much. Literally, like 5.68 is our winning percentage. That's just about 50%, 55%. It's like half a coin toss, basically. Half the time we care. And approaching that Pelicans game, I can't tell you how we're going to perform because I can't tell you. One, I can't even tell you what our identity is. That's a huge issue that we have. And 2, I can't tell you who's going to be effective in that game. I mean, I know for sure AD is going to bring it. Every game that he's played fantastic this season. In all honesty, he's been very engaged, aside from a couple of games where he just gets absolutely bodied by random centers in the West. He has been pretty well consistent. LeBron also kind of keeps up in his consistency. Sometimes has some bad games here and there, but not nearly as much. The issue is everyone else. Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, Taurean Prince, all those guys, they have very inconsistent games. Rui has been more consistent as of late. But, I mean, over the course of the season, when he actually has been able to play because of our freaking coach, it's kind of inconsistent. So I really don't know what to tell you going into this game because the last week, like kind of just scoping this out a bit, the last week has been a little do or die situation for not just the Lakers, but pretty much everyone in this 8, 9, 10 race. And we were talking about this just before. The Lakers are 0-6 against their direct opponents in these seeds. I mean, the Pelicans aren't their direct opponent in these seeds, but that gives you like kind of an indication of the level of awareness and the level of, I guess, kind of like how much they really want this in regards to their seeding placement. We're 0-6 against the guys that we are fighting for playoff seeding with. We are in the play-in for the third time since the play-in format has been introduced. The first year it was introduced, we made it to the championship. We won the championship. Second year, we made the playoffs, and then AD got injured, but we got in through the play-in. The following year, we didn't even make the playoffs. Like, and ever since the championship, it's been play-in. And AD and LeBron are still here. Where is the mentality of, I don't want to be in this situation. I want to actually relax for a bit and not treat the last like 2 or 3 weeks, last month of the season, like it's a game 7 away game, because that's what these games really are. It doesn't matter if you're playing the Pelicans. It doesn't matter if you're playing the Grizzlies. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You got to treat them with the level of urgency you would treat a game 7, or you're going to end up potentially as low as the 10th seed, get your booty clapped by the Warriors probably, or if God intervenes, make our way to the 8th seed, we get our booty clapped by Jokic. Like, I really like, is this a team of masochists? Like, do they want this? Do they get off on this? Like, I don't understand why we're so okay with being in the play-in. Like, to put to put a bit of the Suns on there, because this is the Suns channel. This is like, you guys are in this position because of injury issues. Honestly, like, I really feel like if you guys didn't have issues with injury, and maybe like taking and maybe if you had some more time to kind of fit everyone together, if everyone was available, you guys are not a 7th seed team. You're not. I don't care how frustrating Frank. No, really, like, I really don't think so. I don't care how frustrating Frank Vogel is. Like, the talent on that team alone should bring you up. I know I've said in the past that this is a team that is very, very top heavy, and it is, but that top heaviness is really good. Bradley Beal has actually exceeded my expectations this year when he has played. If he's been playing all year, you guys are probably in the running for the 3/4 seed, in all honesty. I can't say the same for the Lakers. AD and LeBron have only together missed like 8 games this year, less than 10 games this year. Where are we? 46-35. We won the IST. We won the in-season tournament. But who cares, bro? Like, who really cares?
Which, by the way, that should count for something other than it just being an in-season tournament and there being monetary value. I think it would be interesting to see if, like, I don't know, like, you win the tournament, that gives you some sort of tiebreaker in this scenario going into the playoffs. I just, maybe that's some, there just has to be more. Like, I think it was a great idea. I liked the in-season tournament. It was fun, but to know, like, now seeing it in effect this year, to look back and maybe do something next year where it's like winner does get some sort of tiebreaker, in some sort of value. Because I mean, the Lakers are just one game up from the 9th and the 10th seed with the Kings and the Warriors. So let me ask you something. So the Lakers going back to the play-in spots and the seeding going into Sunday, the Lakers do have something to play for. Is that correct?
In terms of for this season, like, we have something to
in terms of seeding, because a lot of people, like, I've seen people say, like, Lakers are, they're fine where they are. They don't gain much by winning opposed to losing or something like that. But, like,
no.
So you would say, like, they need to win this game.
We've needed to win the past week. We needed to win and I'm not even just like joke ranting anymore. At this point, like, I can understand that argument because we have the benefit of kind of being in the present, where it's like, in the Warriors game, in my opinion, is when we completely lost the season, no matter what happens. Actually, not even, who was it before the Warriors? It was someone else. The Wolves. If we had beaten the Wolves, AD didn't get smacked in the face on a no call, and if we beat them, we would actually be potentially in the 6th seed. Granted, we have to win a couple more games than we have been, but we also lost a couple of those games because we didn't have AD. But losing that Wolves game set us on a course to where we're at now. Yeah. So if we lose to the Pelicans tomorrow, we're looking at Lakers in 10th, 100%. I don't think. What were the scenarios? Let me pull up the scenarios again real quick. It's
Yeah, a lot of
Uh,
crazy scenarios there.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple from a winning perspective that if the Lakers win, they're the 8th seed.
Yeah.
And for Suns fans,
Well,
we want them to win.
well, we're the 8th seed if we win and everyone else loses. That is the
Okay.
hardest scenario because, and this is the frustrating thing, when the second your season and your postseason implications are determined by another team and various other teams, it's over because you can only control what you can control. I can't control if Domantas Sabonis is going to go nuclear and get like a quintuple double, like against whoever they're playing tomorrow. And if they win, then we lose a tiebreaker and we go down.
Yeah.
So it's just really frustrating.
Okay, so let's get into it. Where do you think the Lakers fall tomorrow playing the Pelicans and everything else considered so that the ball can get rolling on where we think these teams end up in the seeding? As a Lakers fan, what's your gut feeling for what they do tomorrow against the Pelicans? Brandon
I
Ingram's
think
coming
they
back
do
too.
win the game. Yeah, I think they do win the game. I think we are looking at a potential Suns-Lakers matchup. As far as what I want to happen, I mean, I don't like our odds against any of these teams. I don't like our odds against the Warriors. I don't like our odds against the Kings. I don't like our odds against you guys. Like, it's tough.
You sound depleted.
The best case scenario is I am. The best case scenario is finishing 8th. You lose the game against you guys, at least we get one chance against the Kings or the Warriors, where again it's like, well, now I got to play the Kings and the Warriors, and the
Right.
Kings have absolutely destroyed us this season. So,
Ashton, where do you think
It's-
about
it's
what do you
Jover,
think about
as
the
they say.
Lakers? Where do you think their matchup? What do you think about their matchup with the Pelicans? And do they win or lose? And where do you see them ending up on this?
They have to win. All right. I was lurking on Twitter after last night's game. We did them a solid by whooping the Kings.
yo, you really did.
We did
You
them
really
a
did.
solid. They have to return the favor now and beat the Pelicans so we can get the 6.
Yeah. Now on the other side of that, now that we're slowly and you know all these teams that we're going to talk about, they're all going to come back one way or another in conversation because even if the Lakers win, which I think they're more than capable of doing, so there's my pick. I think the Lakers should beat the Pelicans tomorrow. The Suns now got to take care of business, and they're taking on the Timberwolves because now you got the Timberwolves who have something to fight for, who have Karl Anthony Towns after missing a couple of weeks. Because if they win, they increase their probability of getting that number 1 seed. Honest time, Ashton, what do you think the Suns are going to do tomorrow with the Timberwolves?
I mean, here's the interesting thing. Anthony Edwards and Cat are both listed as questionable tomorrow. That bombshell report just came out today. I don't know. It's so hard to say. Because the Suns, because Edward, you say a lot of things about the Lakers, and all of that could be used to describe the Suns as well. Like they're also inconsistent.
We're all just
Right.
in the same boat. We're all just, if we had a Warriors fan in here, they would be like, "That's us." If you had a Kings fan in here, they would say, "That's us." But you know what, Ashton? You know what's so funny about that is the Suns would have a better chance if both of them were playing. But I know for a fact if both of them missed that game, I'm choosing the Timberwolves by 40. I'm taking the over on that. And that's without Anthony Edwards and Cat. I think the Timberwolves dismantled this Suns team. I hate this team so much. They're such a headache. They make literal no sense. Oh God. That's why, that was very polite of you to say that where we are is because of injuries. Sure. But no, that's not the case. This team is a mess, and they came so close to losing to the Kings last night, even though they won, but whatever. Okay. So what about you as a Lakers fan? looking on in from the outside, you look at two of these teams. I'm gonna assume Ant and Cat play because, like, why wouldn't they play? This is for the number 1 seed potentially. Outside looking in, what do you think this matchup? Who wins this? It's in Minnesota too.
Assuming they both play.
Yeah,
Is Nurk healthy? Is Nurkic
yeah,
healthy?
he's healthy.
But Drew Eubanks is questionable.
I'm taking us by 50.
Okay, the way I'm looking at it is I'm looking at the strengths of both teams, right? Timberwolves, they got the Twin Towers offense and defense. If Cat plays, they got Cat and Rudy. There's going to be a level of rust on Cat. I actually thought he was supposed to be out for the whole season, and then I saw the report the other day that said like he's rehab faster than anyone's ever seen, I guess. But there will be a level of rust. It's going to take him some time. Rudy is going to do Rudy things. What those things are, I don't know. I don't understand how that matters in the DPOI conversation, but whatever. It's really a head-to-head matchup between Ant and Book. And to me personally, I think they're pretty much on that same exact level.
Whoa.
And I think that's going to be what determines the outcome of the game. In terms of playoff seeding, I want you guys to win, so you get the 6th, and then we face the Pelicans if we win, as they take the 7th. That's what I want. What I think might happen, I'm not really sure. It's really going to depend on the kind of games they had. Like I told you earlier, last season, IST, Lakers and Wolves, we only won that game because Anthony Edwards forgot how to play basketball for a night. Maybe that happens. Maybe that happens tomorrow. You never know. So I hope it's the Suns.
So what I would say is I don't trust the Suns as far as I can throw them. They got a very exciting win the other night, but no way are they going to win tomorrow. They're going to wet the bed, and it's going to be disappointing. It's going to sting because I do think the Lakers are going to beat the Pelicans, and it's going to open the window for the Suns to get that 6th seed, and they're not going to win it. But so, okay, that's where we're at with that. Let's talk about this number 1 seed. Answer it just plain and simple. Who gets the number 1 seed? I think I know who's going to win it.
The Thunder.
Thunder.
Yeah. Okay. So the Thunder. That was pretty easy. That's pretty straightforward because I think, okay, so if Oklahoma City, Minnesota, and Denver all win, and I think they do because OKC plays Dallas and Dallas isn't playing Kyrie or Luka. And if Minnesota beats Phoenix, which they will easily do, and then if Denver takes care of the Grizzlies, which they will, then OKC has a tiebreaker on all of that. So yeah, so I guess we're all in agreement. And so then that would mean Minnesota gets the 2nd seed and Denver gets the 3rd seed if all 3 of those teams win. So is that, do we all agree on that? Like, I know we know OKC is going to win it, but do you think the Nuggets would beat Memphis as well? Are we all pretty straightforward on that one as well?
What? Are you asking if the reigning champions could beat the 15-day contract of the Memphis Grizzlies?
Hey,
What?
the Lakers.
Dude, every day I swear to God, every day my phone blows up like the Grizzlies have signed another day contract. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how bad is it over there? Twitter, every 5 minutes they sign some no-name 2K generated name to a 10-day contract. And they whoop our butts almost last night. Like, come on, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Nuggets are killing them. Jokic is killing them.
So that would set in. Okay. So, now it's getting a little bit difficult here doing the math. So the Thunder would be the number 1 seed. We know Clippers and Mavs are already locked in. Timberwolves would stay at the number 2 seed. Nuggets. So, okay. And then now let's get down. to the last spots of the play-in, which I think is going to be pretty exciting. Let's talk about the Kings and the Warriors. Where do you think they'll end up?
Warriors.
The rematch. It's Warriors. Yeah, it's Warriors.
Curry's gonna have another 50, and he's gonna own the Kings again.
Honestly,
he's gonna set the play-in scoring record.
honestly, I think the way that I'm seeing everything right now, I think that's exactly what it's probably going to be. So that's the Thunder, the number 1 seed, Clippers, Mavs, we already know about. I think we're gonna get a Nuggets Pelicans series. The Wolves are the number 2 seed, and they'll play on who becomes the 7th seed. I do think we get the Suns and the Lakers in the play-in, and I do think we get the Kings and the Warriors in the play-in. Is there anything that I'm missing that you guys would argue against that would be something different?
What would the Suns be?
I think they would be the 7th seed.
Okay.
Losing, they would be the 7th seed.
I still
okay.
there's still a little bit of Suns fan in me. I still think we could win. We could win. Anthony Edwards is still going through a shooting slump. Beal's gonna have that playoff energy. I think we win. I think we have the 6th seed. I'll say it.
All right. So you think we get the 6th seed?
This throws off your whole equation, because that would make Nuggets 2nd seed and Timberwolves 3rd seed if my prediction goes through.
Dang. Which I would. So okay, let's talk about that. Let's start with the Lakers. As a Lakers fan here, really quick, which play-in would you be? Would you like to see? Which play-in matchup would you like to see? And then going into, if you win that, what's the series that you would want to go to, and who's that team that you would like to match up against?
Like the team that I'd want to see, like not including the Lakers, like the matchup I'd like to see, or who I'd like to see.
No. So
Lakers
yeah, as a Lakers fan, with your team and the Lakers, where would you like to see them with their playing matchup?
I guess the most optimal would be Lakers in 8th, Warriors in 9th. Or Lakers in 8th, Warriors in 9th. So if we drop the game and the Warriors win their game, we play them. I think that's the best outcome. If we play the Kings, we're losing. Like, there's just no way around it. We have no answer for Sabonis.
Really?
Yeah, that's my most optimal match. Yeah, no, that dude kills us. Absolutely just destroys AD. I don't know what it is. It's kind of sad, actually.
That's okay. Okay. And yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at too. Which, and like I said, I think these are really good matchups. Like, I think Nuggets and the Pelicans would be a good series. Kings and Warriors for a win or go home battle. That's intense. And the Warriors won that series last year, right? If I'm remember correctly, they won it at 7.
Yeah, Curry had to score 50 in that last game.
Yeah. Well, I think we're done here. I think we kind of all have unless Edward, you have something different, an opinion that's different, because Ashton thinks the Suns are gonna get the 6th seed. You think the Lakers are gonna have the 8th seed by the end of tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. Well, no, because that's gonna depend on the Kings losing as well. I don't think the Kings are gonna lose. I think they're gonna win. Because the thing that sucks, 8, 9, and 10, they all have the tiebreaker against us. So if they all win, we're 10th seed no matter what we do. So, well, we have one game on top of them, so we can still lock in the 8th, but we have to win. If we lose, no matter what, we're 10th seed. So it's literally,
that's crazy.
We can't like, how can we can barely even get the 9th seed, bro? Like, it is an equal chance to get the 8th and the 10th, not the 9th. Like, it's so stupid. I swear to God, LeBron's doing this for his legacy, man. Like, he's like, I went through so much in the play-ins, in the twilight of my career. I did the hardest road. I'm like, I'm tired of us in the play-in, man. I'm tired, boss. I I want a last chill final game of the season for the first time. And not even for the first time. My first time this year, the world ended and like the most stressful time in recent human history. And like not even the end of this season was chill. Like, come on, bro. Give me one. Give me one, bro.
Also, shout out to the chat. Eric jumped in and said, "What up, homies? What's up, Eric? Thanks for joining and watching us. Appreciate it. Let us know what your predictions are for this play-in tomorrow." But I'm excited. It's gonna be hard to like not be watching every single game, and I hope it's pretty competitive. I hope there's no blowouts. I hope it's
Yeah.
coming down and it's just craziness because it should be. I think there's a lot of matchups here. And I know we just talked about the Western Conference because the Eastern Conference is pretty straightforward. Plus, I don't really care about the Eastern
Yeah.
Conference. We worry
Wait.
about our own.
Who do you think is going to emerge from the East? Do we all agree on one team?
Yeah, I think so.
What? It's kind of straightforward.
Give me. Oh.
Who? Who else? The Knicks? The Cavs? The Bucks? Like who?
Give me the 76ers. I like
Oh my
the
God.
76ers.
Oh my god.
No, hear me out on this. I like the 76ers. Yes, as it stands, they are the number 7 seed and they are in the play-in spot. But that is because they have missed Joel Embiid. If Embiid had played majority of the time in the past month, they're nowhere near the 7th seed. They are most likely in that locked-in spot because the East is so weak. Plus, they're 7-3. They're on a 7-game winning streak. They are the hottest team by winning streaks. No one has that many winning many games that they have won consistently, consecutively.
That's fair.
So, and I mean that if they do end up playing the Miami Heat, that's going to be a tough game. But yeah, I don't trust the Bucks. I would choose the 76ers over the Bucks, and I do not trust the Celtics. I know they have been very, very, very good. Like they have been such a great basketball team. They're really good. And it's almost blasphemous to like even think that they would lose, but it's there. I just don't trust Tatum. I don't trust Jaylen Brown. They're a really good team, but like they would drop in the second round. That's where I'm predicting that they're going to drop.
Oh, okay. I'm not saying that you're wrong there, but what my question is, what makes you trust Joel Embiid over Jason Tatum in the playoffs?
Because he's the MVP. He's the MVP.
Okay,
and
he was the
would've been-
MVP last year too. And when did he get kicked out? Like, at least Tatum's been in the finals, bro. Like,
Hey,
what?
I'm all, you guys are forgetting about
Why am I
Tyrese
defending the
Maxey.
Celtics right now? What? Okay, well, okay.
Tyrese Maxey
He's
is a killer.
fantastic. He's fantastic. He's fantastic.
So,
But still,
anyways,
like,
this
Embiid
is all
gonna
for
choke
Monday.
like he always does.
This is all for Monday when everything is settled and we know how this playoff picture is going to look. We'll talk about it. We'll break it down and we'll give each of our predictions. But that's just a little taste of what's coming Monday. But I think, it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. I can't wait to see what happens. I mean, this playoff basketball's here, and it's going to be very exciting to see what happens tomorrow. And I think play-in games would happen Tuesday, right?
The Hawks game is already scheduled. Let me find it real quick.
If I remember correctly, I think it was,
Let's see. Why am I NBA standings? Okay, games. The next game is going to be Wednesday is the Hawks and Bulls play-in game. So that's the first one.
And
that's
I
live.
think if the Suns are in the play-in, there would a lot of those games would happen on Tuesday. All right, guys. Well, thank you again to our special guest for joining us for today's episode. He will be back Monday, and if our predictions fall through, we might just see him again for a post-game reaction for the Suns and the Lakers. NBA playoff basketball is intense, and it's not for the easy-hearted. It's not for the
No.
lighthearted. Especially if you're a Suns fan. I have flashbacks.
We got it out of our system. We already had a
Yeah.
bad blowout.
I'm 36 bothered. I'm so bothered. Can't sleep. But other than that, best of luck to the Lakers. Suns Nation is cheering for the Lakers. And we'll be tuning in. And we will see. Ash and I will be back tomorrow to wrap up that Suns and Wolves game. And then, like I said, we'll be back Monday with Edward as he'll join us and we'll make our final NBA playoff predictions. But be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And we will see you guys tomorrow.
Kevin